What's going on, YouTube channel? Coming at you here tonight with a video on 3 companies that I have been keeping an eye on and I think are very interesting and will be interesting in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and something that I think everyone should put on their watch list and check out. The 3 of them are very small market cap stocks, and have a lot of risk to them, but a lot of potential upside. Now, disclaimer, this video is for educational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor, just a guy who's gotten lucky investing before. Past performance does not guarantee future results. I am just as good at losing money as I can make it. None of what you're about to see is financial advice. And I want to invite you all to subscribe to my channel and please like this video. It's super cheap right now. It's actually on sale. Right now you can do both of those things for free, so please do that. Now keep in mind that small cap stocks, especially with they're kind of banking on high technology, as the 3 I'm going to show you today, they're known for higher volatility, and due to this increased price fluctuation, it's often attributed to factors such as these companies having fewer financial resources, less access to capital, lower trading volume, and those things can amplify price swings. Due to this inherent volatility and potential for sharper declines, it is recommended that investors keep a small portion of these few stocks in their portfolio to mitigate risk in your investing strategy. That way you're not like this guy and freaking out, okay? Now, the first stock I want to talk about, first company, is a company called ONDS Holdings. They run a few different drone lines, 3 I can think of right now, and one of them, huge positive, is that it has an FAA type certificate. Their Optimus drone has achieved this FAA type certificate. If you know anything about type certificating aircraft, it is a very difficult process, very strenuous. You have to go through insane safety standards to prove that your drone is not going to autonomously go, hey, we're going to fly into an elementary school today, or hey, we're going to fly right through a approach through an international airport because we got confused in our autonomous algorithm. And they proved to the FAA that, hey, we can trust these guys in restricted airspaces and things like that. We can rely on their transponders to communicate with air traffic controllers and tell them who they are and what they're doing and where they are. The other thing too is they have a partnership with Palantir. If you're familiar with Palantir, they're a huge software company. They're an artificial intelligence company. They are the leading. They're like I think a $200 billion market cap company. Huge, and they get huge military contracts. They're like the hot company right now. They just partnered with them, announced probably 2 or 3 months ago. That could be a catalyst coming down the road for huge potential upside. And ONDS does have some revenue streams, and they have 2 repeat customers that have been repeat customers for 2.5 years now, and they have been reliable customers, getting parts from them, buying services from them, paying for their networking solutions, things like that for their drones. Now, Beware of the downsides of this company. You got to beware of all the downsides of any company you invest in. Currently, they're not cash flow positive, and they've been reporting negative earnings for quite a long time now. Their balance sheet, they have gotten themselves into, I don't want to say a hole, but they gotten themselves into a lot of debt. They currently have a lot liabilities of $50 million, and their trailing 12-month revenue right now is $7 million. That's not really good. They have been diluting shares. In year ending 2022, they had 42 million shares outstanding. And I think I typed this incorrect. I believe I meant to say year-end 2024 because we are not at the end of 2025 yet. Anyway, 70 million. That is a rather large increase. What is that? $28 million. 28 million shares added to the market in a span of 2 years. That's any stock in this price range, in this market cap, small cap stocks that are developing new technologies, they're going to have quite a lot of dilution with their shares outstanding. But should know about should keep an eye. Any investor should keep an eye on how many shares are entering the market. Upper management, their experience is not very relevant. A lot of these guys are fintech bros. A lot of them are previous hedge fund managers. They do have good connections, but keep in mind they are not an engineer. There's very few engineers and software developers and aviation minded folk in ONDS. Moving on, the stock I wanted to talk about after ONDS is a company called AST Space Mobile. They have an $8 billion market cap, which is very high right now, and I'll get into why I say that's very high. This was a tip given to me by my Aunt Sue. Shout out Aunt Sue. If we could get shout out Aunt Sue in the comments, would be much appreciated. She gave me a little tip on this company, and I like the stock. Why I like this company? Well, I like this company because they have a much healthier balance sheet than ONDS did. They are currently sitting on enough cash right now to pay their debt and liabilities off 2 times over. The CEO founder, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. He's a Venezuelan immigrant who has already started, ran, and sold a satellite company and has very impressive skills relevant to the field of this company's business model. Now, this company's business model is, I should start off with this guy's past company. He started a company where he tried to do something like SpaceX, and it kind of, I don't want to say, it fell short. What it ended up being is when you go onto an airplane and you access Wi-Fi on the airplane, you are using this guy's previous company's satellites to access Wi-Fi on the airplane. He was, from what I can find on the internet, of course, the company was bought out by a different company now. But what I have seen in my research was he was trying to make a Starlink, essentially, back in 2009, 2010 or something. And you'd have to do your own research. I'm going off memory here. But he sold it for a lot of money, and he just started his own company. And now his plan, his mission with AST Space Mobile is to build a cell phone service provider via satellite. And so far, the company's been publicly traded for 4 years now, and they have 5 satellites in space. One Big Mama Jama, to prove the theory of this possibility, and then he launched 5 satellites to start demonstrating how fast this technology can be, how fast you can get internet from space. They have 5 in space right now, and they are working on building 40 Block 2 satellites. If you don't know what Block 2 means, it's basically like a militarized version of saying version 2, right? So they have 40 Block 2 satellites under construction right now, and they have contracts to launch 60 by year-end 2026. Their goal right now is to have 256 satellites, I believe, before they can have global cellular service. Now, fourth thing is this business model makes sense. Why do we all have GPS access in our pockets right now? We've had it since I've had it since I was a teenager, right? I always been able to go into my pocket and just put in a directions to anywhere, and it was all satellite based, but I'm still connecting to a tower to get internet to watch YouTube, and it just seems like more and more people are like living in vans and stuff, and traveling the world, and people are climbing Mount Fiji or whatever, and there's no cell phone service in these really awesome locations. So it might ruin the world, but it will be profitable. We'll all make money off of it, so that's a positive. And so still, like with any of these companies, you got to be careful. Verizon did invest $100 million into this company recently, and their cash positions are good. But keep in mind, Starlink is looking to already do this. Starlink is going to provide some pretty stiff competition here in this market, and ASTS still has a long path to profitability. At its current valuation, $8 billion market cap, I think that's a little much for a company that's probably not going to be cash flow positive for another 2 or 3 years. I will be waiting for a much more reasonable price. And if it never comes, I am totally fine missing out on the money to be made on AST Space Mobile. But I'm not going to personally pay that much for this company. It is an awesome company. I like the CEO. I like the way that it's headed. You can see that. It's cash and assets and have stayed pretty positive here, but I would hold out on the price. Now the third stock, and probably my favorite stock of these three companies is a little company called AMPX Technologies. They're sitting right now at a pretty $280 million market cap. Okay. They are a battery manufacturer, and they're probably making the best lithium batteries in the world today, that you can buy. And when I say you can buy, okay? All these batteries currently are made in the USA. Subject to change, okay? Like I said, most energy dense lithium battery on the market. Most energy dense in the sense of, you know, space per liter, amp hour per liter, and also amp hour per kilogram. Most energy dense as far as weight and size. There are some big name players in the market right now that have been buying these batteries up, and they cannot keep up with production. That's their biggest issue right now. They cannot produce the amount of batteries they need to supply. They have customers, you know, to name a few: Airbus, Teledyne FLIR, AeroVironment, and BAE Systems. Okay, now I got my little Airbus hat here. I know a little bit about Airbus, and these are reliable purchasers, great customers. Now there's a fifth customer here by the name of Upgrade Energy. They purchase in mass these batteries from AMPX, and they make RC drone power packs with them. That's why I said you can buy. You on YouTube can go onto the internet and go search up Upgrade Energy, and they advertise Upgrade Energy dark lithium AMPX cells. And you can buy them off the internet. They're like $300. You can hold them in your hand. There are reviews on YouTube of drone YouTubers flying their drones with these things, and they all talk about you know, the response of the battery, the ability. One guy I was watching, he didn't realize how much other lithium batteries were holding him back, because these AMPX batteries they have a way of supplying the energy like quicker, or more amperage in a faster manner, or something. I don't know. I didn't really get it. And also a large unnamed electric auto manufacturer, a large car maker, has ordered a few, and right now they're running their own tests on the battery to potentially purchase a larger order from AMPX. Now, it is an unnamed electric auto manufacturer, unnamed car company, but I have an imagination, and I think, I don't want to say who, but I think I know who probably the largest electric car manufacturer there is, potentially, maybe. And then last point, they went to the International Battery Seminar in 2025, and they won Best of Show. They were the winner for that. And in the International Battery Seminar, in my little research I did, there's a whole bunch of OEMs and battery purchasers large corporations that would buy lithium batteries were there. So they won Best of Show at that battery seminar. Pretty cool. And of course, you got to have the, let me see if I can, okay. Lots to love about this company. Impressive CEO, very educated, is a Chinese immigrant. I got a PhD from Brown University, master's degree from University of Georgia, bachelor's degree in chemistry from Nanjing University of China. International sales and manufacturing. I said subject to change on the Made in USA because of the latest tariff runs. They are going to be manufacturing their lithium batteries overseas, most likely Korea, is from my understanding where they're going to be manufacturing some of their batteries, so that they can afford they can 83% of the, I should shoot this out before, 83% of their customers come from outside of the USA. So if they manufacture in Korea and then send to Europe or send to Russia or send to Antarctica, wherever these OEMs are, they can afford USA. They can avoid USA tariffs. The other one is, of all three of these companies, AMPX has seemingly the lowest share dilution, and also they have zero debt. They have a bit of current liability, however, nothing, no debt long term. Now, there are a few concerns. First off, I don't have it listed. I forgot to list it on this presentation, but there seems to be a dissatisfaction of workers at AMPX. That is a concern. However, I don't know how how much to weigh that, because I don't think that being a battery maker may not be a lot of the people that work at AMPX's end game goal. And so it's probably a low rating because they're not getting paid a whole lot of money to make lithium batteries. So that just doesn't sound like a very fun job to me. And I love lithium batteries. The other one concern that I would have with this company is the longevity of the cells. Not so much how long the battery lasts, as far as, hey, we got, a new battery. Like, take a cell phone, for example. You get a new cell phone, and then you're going to be impressed with, oh wow, I can use this thing for like hours and the battery doesn't die. And then after a few years you go, oh hey, I've only been using my phone here for 20 minutes and it's already like 25% battery life left. That sort of that sort of overall life of the battery is still kind of questionable. I think they're doing a lot of development still on their batteries, and they could figure it out, and everything can be super awesome with it. But and even if they can't, there's still going to be some sort of niche where it's like, hey, I don't really care how long this thing lives. I just want to have super lightweight batteries with lots of, I don't care that I have to change it every 3 months, recycle them or whatever. And then the other one is, there is a long road to profitability. Q1 2025 was a killer year. As you can see in the chart below, they have a super large order backlog. Now that is $60 million backlog. They just announced today, I did not update this list, another $35.4 million added to their backlog. So it's almost a $100 million backlog that AMPX has, which is insane. And even with that huge backlog, and they just reported the best quarter as far as revenue they've ever reported, they still finished out with a $2.3 million negative. $2.3 million net negative. So they're going to really have to ramp up production. They're really going to have to skinny down their margins, or not skinny down, but fatten up their margins, and that could take a while. Now, I don't know batteries. They could come out tomorrow and say, "Hey, we reduced our what do you call it? Profit." Revenue expenses. We've reduced our revenue expenses, by half. So that could happen. But as far as right now, to me, on paper, reading the balance sheet, the income statements, it looks like they still have probably a year and a half, 2 years before they start becoming cash flow positive. So with that being said, those are my 3 stocks. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. This is not financial advice. I know which one I like most of all, and which one I will be buying. However, I like all 3. I do still like ONDS. I feel like I didn't come across, but I do. ONDS's relationship with Palantir is really powerful, and if ASTS can come down in price, I think that's also an awesome company. CEO is really awesome, great relative experience. There's also some politicians that really like the ASTS guy, so we could see some government grants going that guy's way. And anyway, thanks again. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you.